Okay, so overall, I feel like you had a very engaging read aloud, and I think a lot of it stemmed from like the choice of book that you had, the Luce Libre book, because I feel like a lot of them like connected with it, and it was something new that they were like, but they were very interested to like learn about it. And you did this kind of later in the lesson, but one of the things that I liked was how you connected Luce Libre to wrestling, because it was able to connect like to more than just like a small group of people. Because then I feel like when you asked like, oh, it's kind of like when you mentioned that it was kind of like wrestling, people were like, oh, and I feel like there was kind of like a light bulb for people that like understood that. So I really liked how you did that. But overall, you seemed very well prepared for the read aloud. It seemed very like confident when you were reading it and like not nervous at all. So yeah, like kind of similar. How did you prepare for your read aloud?
So I mostly just like read it like a lot. And I tried to look, since I was focusing on code meshing and code switching, just trying to figure out in what points of the book they were doing that, so I could stop and ask them like what they saw or like what the difference in that sentence was. But other than that, like I was trying to figure out an activity that would be engaging, and trying. The thing that they told me was I had to go slower. So I thought I was good, but then they told me I should have gone slower. But that's basically I just read it a lot.
And then I feel like you had a very like welcoming environment because like you didn't really like push anyone to like share things that they were like uncomfortable with, or, like they just like didn't feel like sharing with like the entire class. And I mean this was definitely evident in like the parent shares because they were able to just tell a partner out the entire class. But then also when you like brought like the masks out, like some of the kids after putting them on, they didn't really feel like comfortable sharing like with the class like how they felt about it and stuff like that, and like what kind of like lucha libre they'd want to be. So you just kind of were like, okay, like that's okay, like you can just try it on. So I feel like that was very welcoming. Do you think that there's anything different you'd want to change about like the environment, about like where you were sitting or any of that stuff?
I definitely think I should have been on the floor as well. Because honestly, I didn't need a board, so I feel like it would have been easier for me to just sit on the floor with them. I don't know. I guess my thing for sitting on the rocking chair was so they could see like the illustration and stuff because, and also I feel like it has a lot to do too with like the behavior management, like being able to sit on the rocking chair and see everyone. And compared to when I'm just sitting on the carpet and just looking at the people right in front of me. So I don't know. I feel like that's something I need to work on. Like, so yeah, probably sitting on the floor would have been better.
Another thing that I really liked that you did was how you kind of got them to like tap into their prior knowledge by like you started out by like asking them if they've even heard of lucha libre, if they've ever been to like a match, and then it kind of went into like the wrestling thing. So I feel like that was just a really good way of like tapping into it, and it really like built the interest up of like all the students, especially when they're able to like see the front cover. So it kind of helped like preview that. And then you did a very good job of like different types of like participation because it wasn't just partners, it was also like entire class. And like I feel like also when like you saw someone like wasn't working with a partner, you tried to like kind of like talk to them a little bit and like see what their ideas were, so you were kind of like joining the conversation. You weren't just like being very like a passive teacher, you were kind of being like, you know, joining them. So I feel like that was very beneficial. Do you think there would be anything that you liked or disliked about the participation?
I definitely think it was like the same people all the time. And just the participation with the partners. I don't know, like, because I was like listening in on partners, but like the ones that I wasn't listening in on, like I don't know if they're still engaged in the same conversation. So I don't know. I guess like figuring out like how much wait time is appropriate. Like sometimes I think I gave them too little or sometimes too much. So kind of finding like that balance with that. And then to probably like assigning the partners would have been beneficial. So then everyone had someone to talk to. So then I would just be able to listen in instead of just being with one person the whole time. So, yeah.
Looking back, do you think there's like anything you could have done to like help more people like participate versus just like the same people over and over again raising their hands? Or do you think that was just more of just like who like was participating?
I feel like it's the usual people that always participate in class who were participating. I don't know. Maybe because like I was code switching when I was talking, but also maybe just telling them, like encouraging them, like, oh, you can answer in whatever language you want. So then the people who weren't comfortable, I don't know, because they were code switching kind of too during the conversation.
Mhm.
So just encouraging that I feel like might have been beneficial, and maybe just switching up the questions because I did like predictions and I kind of did the same questions. Like I repeated some of them. So yeah, maybe some more engaging questions.
Like regarding your questions, one thing that I really liked that like I noticed in choice words was that like when you're asking like the prediction questions, you didn't just like have them answer it. You kind of were like, how did you figure that out? Like, why do you think that like that's gonna happen? So it kind of was that like higher order thinking, and then like in choice words, it says that like that invites them to review the process or strategies used to accomplish a goal or solve a problem. So you're kind of doing like that extra step, which I think like really was beneficial, and like then they were able to think about where they actually got their answer from. They weren't just like guessing what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
It was more like substantial. Another thing I liked was like your visual of like bringing in the masks, because then like they were able to like see it, and like everyone had the opportunity to try it on. So I really liked that. Do you think there's any other visuals that you could have added into your lesson?
I feel like maybe writing like the sentences that we found that did use code meshing on a board or something, so they could be able to see it. Because like when I had it and I would ask them like, oh, like what do you notice about this sentence? It was like me pointing at it in the book, and I feel like that wasn't as effective as it could have been because it was obviously in a book and it was small. So I feel like that's something that I feel like would have been very beneficial. And then maybe also, well, I don't know if this is like another visual, but if like I put a sentence on there and like half of it is in Spanish and half of it is in English, like making them like switch it to like whatever was in Spanish, like let's switch it to English. Whatever was in English, switch it to Spanish and make a new sentence. Just so they could see the visual too within like the differences within English and Spanish, like grammar and stuff, because things might have been switched around.
And that could definitely have been like an extension activity if like we had like more time to like them to like even create their own little like story where they needed to code switch or code mesh, I guess, because it's writing. So, but one thing that I definitely liked at the end was that even like past the lessons, like students were like coming up to like me, and I've noticed like even you, and they're like, oh, like I'm like I just code switched, or I just like, or they were like they wanted to read the book during Cinco Diarios, and they were like, oh hey, like that's the sentence that like is code meshing. So like you could definitely tell that they were definitely like getting it. There's definitely like that understanding, and that they were very interested, and they were like excited that like they do it too, and they were like kind of like proud of it, not like embarrassed that like they didn't know the other word, because at least they knew it in the other language. They were like proud of that, so I feel like that was really beneficial.
Yeah, I really like. I was surprised at how many of them wanted to read the book again during Cinco Diarios, and then them coming up like during when we went to recess. Like Honor was like, I just use both languages.
Yeah, they were super excited about it.
So just being able to like go like see them like connect it even after our read aloud was really cool.
One thing that I feel like needs a little bit of improvement was like some of the behavior and how it was like addressed, because like a lot of it, there was like a lot of talking, and like some people were just like standing up or they were just like moving around. So like looking back, how would you have like addressed that differently?
Honestly, I don't know. Like I don't know. I feel like I do have a lot of improvement to do with behavior management. Personally, like I know I did like a lot of like I'll wait until you guys y'all are ready, and I don't know how effective that was because they were like, all right, like we're gonna keep talking then. So I don't know what I really could have done better. I feel like having a substitute today also added a lot to the behavior issues. And then just the way that she handled stuff too during my interactive read aloud, but I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like with like, because I personally feel like was kind of distracting, because she would be like, I don't know, the way she was reacting to their behavior. So I feel like with that being said, like you did a very good job of just like letting that be like aside and not focusing on that at all, because I feel like that was beneficial, because then kids weren't like, oh, like what's going on, like, you know.
Yeah.
So I feel like you did an overall really good job on that. So
I feel like maybe if I had like more stopping points where they knew they had like something coming up that they were gonna have to be listening for, would have maybe helped with behavior. But yeah.
And then I like how at the very end you like reviewed the concept one more time, so that it wasn't just like, because they were kind of getting a little like wild and like fun with like the masks. So I like how you like brought them back and were like, okay guys, but like on the last note, like this is like the last concept, and you kind of just like reviewed like code switching, code meshing, and like how you like do it in everyday life. So like how you like did that with your closing. Is there anything else that like you think went either really well or like not so well in your lesson you want to talk about?
Well, I'm glad I switched up like my original lesson plan for like bringing in the masks and having them do that. I feel like for that part, I feel like if I would have prepared them more for it, more people would have been willing to participate.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of just asked for volunteers and them not really knowing what they were getting themselves into.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe I think I should have modeled first.
Okay.
What to do with the mask on, and then have them come up.
Yeah, like how you said, like what kind of like lucha libre you'd want to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like
I feel like that would have been beneficial.
Yeah, so I really think I should have modeled it first, and that was definitely evident. As soon as I saw it, I was like, shoot, I should have done that.
Yeah.
But I feel like I also did a good job with improvising with that, because they were like, I don't want to do it. Like, they didn't want to do it in front of everyone. So I was like, okay, like, if you had, like, a name, like, what would it be? And try to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Try to code mesh, and I think that was easier instead of, like, a whole sentence.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, they were able to code mesh their luchador name.
And then just one other thing, you kind of mentioned it before, but like how your reading the text was kind of very fast at the beginning, and even
Mm-hmm.
the kids were kind of like, whoa, like you need to kind of slow down a little bit. But then I feel like after that, like you were paying more attention to your pacing, and then it was like much more appropriate for like their speed.
Yeah.
So that's just one thing that I definitely would say to improve a little bit on, is just like practice like reading slower. But I feel like that just also happens when you're just like, you know the text a lot, and then you're also just a little bit nervous, so you're like going a little bit
I had no
faster.
idea when she was like, you need to slow down, Miss Senna. I was
Yeah.
like, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, I did not notice at all.
Mhm.
So I mean, that's good though that they have like that confidence with me to like, or that comfort with me to be able to tell me to slow down.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I feel like overall though it was a very engaging lesson. You could tell that they really like understood your purpose, and it was just a very good lesson.